Getting into college can be difficult. Paying for college is even harder. Here at Southside, we have many scholarships for students who are hoping to attend college.
We have the South Jackson Civitan Scholarship. We have the Keith and Nancy Turner Scholarship. We have the Danny Coley Memorial Scholarship. And we also have the Crystal Grace Memorial Scholarship.
Every memorial scholarship has a story that deserves to be told.
She went to South Elementary School in Pinson. She loved school because she loved friends. She was a very outgoing person, never met a stranger.
Crystal was never a straight A student. She never pretended to be. She would do her homework. She didn't give it her best. She didn't always bring her books home. Always full of life, had just tons of friends.
Crystal, she was a fun and loving person, very bubbly personality. There was nothing that she really wouldn't do for her friends and her family.
At West, she was a cheerleader and absolutely loved cheerleading. She loved the dance moves. She loved being around the kids. She loved the mascot. She loved it all. Crystal was just full of love.
At the time, skating was big, so we were always at the skating rink. Again, we used to build our own bicycles. She had, my cousin was her very best friend. So taking care of my little daughter, Haley, who's graduating this year, she loved to play with Haley and babysit as much as she could.
There's really not, just one memory I can say that, was great about Crystal. They were all great.
I'm really country at the time. She also loved Alanis Morissette, that was just coming out. NSYNC was the thing. She knew all the dance moves. We used to watch it every night.
She was really a go-getter. So every time we were talking on the phone or, I went over to her house, she was always trying to show me something she had done or something she wanted to talk about, or not talk about, something she wanted to get involved in. And I think that's kind of where some of her passion came from. She was all about trying to learn and just do bigger and better things for herself and for her family.
Crystal was very passionate about her faith. There was a time where my family actually slipped from church and she brought us back.
Crystal was very passionate about standing for her rights. If she believed she was right about something, she would fight the devil himself if she thought she was right, because she believed that when you're right, you have to stand up for yourself because sometimes nobody else will.
She had the gift of discernment. She definitely could tell someone if they're real or if they're not. She had a gift of compassion.
She was just such a passionate person, very lively personality, and I think that's really how she's going to be remembered. She was always smiling. I can only encounter or kind of remember maybe one or two times where, I remember her being sad or just with a frown on her face. She was constantly smiling and just loved life.
Crystal never really knew the impact she had on others because she thought that she didn't have any friends. She had a few girls that she hung around, but if she would have known the impact that she'd have had on the kids at Southside High School, which overflowed the funeral home at her service, she would have been amazed.
She had spent the night with me the night before because, again, we were just so close, and she loved to babysit Haley as much as possible. She left my house that morning after cooking us French toast, and she was supposed to come back to my house that night on Saturday night to babysit again, but her and her best friend made some plans to go roll houses. So a bunch of friends got together, and on their way home, or actually they were leaving the house to meet up, and she was in a car accident.
That was the most horrible day of my life. I had worked, it was a Saturday. She had called me Saturday afternoon and told me that she was going to be spending the night with my niece and my sister, and that she would not be able to she was not going to be able to be at Sunday school the next morning, but she would be there for church. And I told her that was okay. And I was working in Memphis at the time, and I was on my way home from Memphis, and my sister called and said that Crystal had been in an accident and they were doing CPR. And my first thought was, I have to get to her. And I tried to get to her, and I couldn't. I never saw her again until the funeral. I was told that they had their seatbelts on when they left the driveway at my sister's house, but when the accident occurred, neither one had their seatbelt on. Crystal was ejected from the car and had massive head injuries. I have to believe that at the time of the injury that Crystal died instantly, because I can't force myself to believe that she suffered. I have talked to the doctors and the EMT that arrived, and they said that she was brain dead from the time she came out of the car. So that's where I get a little peace. We have seen lots of good come from the Crystal Gray Scholarship. We have given scholarships, and I can't name everybody that we've given them to, but there are a few that stand out in my mind. Every time I go into Walgreens and I see Sarah Pipkin standing there filling prescriptions, I think, we helped do that. That's a part of Crystal that's alive. When I see Reed Benson walking down the street, I say, that's part of us. Julie Jones. There's so many that I can't even remember them all. But that's what keeps Crystal alive for us. So all we require is that they have a 2.5 average, which is a C. Crystal was a C, she's average. They also have to write a letter stating why they need and want the Crystal Gray Scholarship. We want to know what their plans are, what they're going to do with the money. $1,000 is not a lot of money, but it helps. Every dime helps. And if it means that we can buy you 2 books with that $1,000, then that's 2 books we could buy you.
We've had some really good essays. Some of the essays we've heard over the years were from future pastors. We've had nursing students. We've had automobile enthusiasts. We've had we actually have had someone from the media class, I believe, who wanted to go to New York and start to film and be in Broadway plays. And we've had some very, very emotional essays over the past 2, people who may have known someone in our family or Crystal themselves. But it is a great way to memorialize my sister and keep her memory alive forever.
We want to do what we can do to keep Crystal's memory alive, and this is our goal. This is our livelihood. This is what we do. If I could stand before the senior class every year, I would tell them, live your life, but live it wisely. You can't ride in a car texting and driving. You can't ride in a car without your seatbelt. There are consequences for everything that we do. And if you would just think about what is the worst thing that could happen if I did this, if you really, really think about it, and you can live with the worst thing that could happen, then you should do that. But you should also think about, if it's the worst thing happened, could I get over it? Would it change my life? Would it change somebody else's life? Could somebody die?
As human beings, we take life for granted. As teenagers, we really, really take life for granted. You think that you're invincible and that you're going to live forever. I've been there, I've done that. Sometimes I still feel that I'm invincible. And then sometimes I get that wake-up call. So I guess how I wanted to be remembered is live life to the fullest, and don't take anything for granted. Tell your friends, tell your family that you love them every time you talk to them. Do good things for people, and you're going to leave your own legacy behind because of that.
I would like to work in sleep labs, doing CT scans there, and just MRIs, or in a doctor's office, like pediatrician office, working with little kids. You get $500 each semester, so I used the $500 this semester to buy all my books for all my classes. I had heard good things about it, and with all the other scholarships that I applied to, I was like, why not? Maybe I'll get it. Maybe it'll help. Just apply for scholarships, because you need them. Thank you very much. It has helped me very much, and I love y'all very much.